Hello, Cancers, and welcome to this, your March 15th through March 31st reading and predictions. For those of you who are new here, thank you so much for trusting and clicking. And for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support the channel. I have one small request. Please watch this video all the way through until the end. The reason being is after 2 years of producing these videos for all of you, I am not quite monetized yet. I still need a few more watch hours, so kindly watch all the way through to the end. And if you do watch all the way through to the end, there is a treat for you, and that is all of us go through life every day, and we are constantly asking questions that require yes, no answers. Should I stay or should I go? Is the job on the other side of the country right for me? Is he right for me? Is she right for me? Do I buy the house? Do I buy the car? So, at the very end of this video, I will be giving you an opportunity to pose your question, and I will pull out my yes/no deck and we will get some answers for you. Now, Cancer, I'm just going to call up my notes here from your last reading, which was covering the time frame from March 1st through March 15th. You had the 10 of Wands twice, thus indicating that you were carrying some burdens around, some of which might not have been yours. 3 Queens. Yeah, lots of feminine energy coming up. And yeah, you were just asked to kind of get things moving in your life. It felt like there was a little bit of stagnant energy there, probably because you felt like you were under a mountain of burdens. So let's pull some cards. Which deck are we going to? All right, we're going to start right here with the Everyday Witch. There are no affiliate links, but if you're interested in any of the decks that I am using, just send me an email. My contact details are down below. All right, for Cancer. All right, this is about to get interesting. Got one card that flipped out. And look at what the deck is doing. I'm not sure if all of this is going to fall out or not by the time I get to the end. We're going to see. And yes, it is. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 cards that jumped out. Oh my gosh, are you serious? I can't make, and then I'm going to flip through the rest of this deck that scrambled all over my laptop keyboard. That, yeah. Um, Holy flipping Cancer. I'm going to get to this in just a minute, but remember what I said. You had 3 Queens at the beginning of March. All right, and there's one more card that has flipped out. You have the Queen of Cups to start off your reading. Another Queen. You have the Queen of Swords. Another Queen. Holy Hannah. Cancer, what's going on with you with all these queens? Is it time for you to step up and step into your divine feminine? Is there something about the divine feminine that you are perhaps avoiding? Are you, I mean, we're not talking about male versus female here. We are talking about the embodiment of the divine masculine or the embodiment of the divine feminine. And the energies that are represented by the masculine and feminine. The masculine tends to be a little bit more domineering, more straightforward, definitely more intellectual. The feminine, on the other hand, tends to be intuitive, compassionate, empathetic, emotional. Are there aspects in your life right now, Cancer, where you are not embodying the qualities of the divine feminine, where you're not being as empathetic or compassionate as you could be? Notice I said could, and I did not should all over everyone. Okay? We're going to try not to use the word should. But generally, when we have this many queens showing up and there's no partnership, there's no kings showing up, not even any knights showing up, it is an indication that there is an imbalance between the masculine and the feminine going on in your life right now. Queen of Swords, of course, is the intellectual queen, but the Queen of Cups is the emotional queen. So perhaps what's coming up for you, Cancer, is that there is a disconnect between what your mind is saying that you want and what your heart is saying you want. And there's a full on disconnect there. Now, one of the ways that you can possibly resolve some of this is to step into the energy of the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is a card of really kind of knuckling down, doing the work that we need to do. Now, generally, the pentacles would be about money or career, but in this case, because you've got all of this masculine, feminine, intellectual versus emotional stuff coming up, Cancer, I want to say that the seven is coming in to invite you to dig into this work, dig into figuring out what's going on. Yeah, we're going here. All right, let's take a look at what you are focusing on, where you're putting your energies. Remember, our thoughts become our reality. So, what are you focusing on for the latter half of March? Yeah, I'm going to have to go through this a second time. I could tell I was going to have to about halfway through the deck because there was a couple of cards that kind of got loose and loosey in there, and then they slipped back in. There we go. Yeah. Is there anything else that the Cancers are focusing on? Yep, there we go. Eight of Swords. The other three cards that have jumped out are face down, and I can't read them just yet, and there's a face up. All right, the Eight of Swords jumped out here. Whew. Let's take a look at all of the cards that have come out here for what you are focusing on. There's the King. There's the King. So you've got the Queen of Cups coming up in where you're at now, and you've got the King of Cups, the partner. This may help to point you in the direction of where you need to make your decision from. Let me just grab a quick sip of water here. The initial cards that you had come out with all these queens from your last reading, the two queens to begin your reading here, there was no masculine counterpart to bring in some of those energies necessary. And now the King comes in, which is an indication that you've really been concentrating on how do I come to a solution to this. Now, like I mentioned, you have the Eight of Swords that jumped out. The Eight of Swords. Okay, I'm going to go backwards just 1 second. I'm feeling, Cancer, like the issue that is coming up for you right now is about a relationship. And I do want to say it's most likely about a relationship between a, a romantic relationship of some kind where one partner is the embodiment of the divine masculine, the other one is the embodiment of the divine feminine. And you guys have reached an impasse or a disconnect, and it's just not feeling right. And you were really wondering with the two queens, how do I make this decision about this relationship? Do I make the decision from my mind, from my intellect, or do I make the decision from a place of heart and emotion? And I think that this King coming in is your answer, and the King coming in is about you making the decision from a place of emotion. Is that going to be easy? Absolutely not, because you have drawn the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is a difficult card, and it doesn't matter which deck you look at. It is also not a particularly pleasant card to look at, in that it is almost always depicted as a heart with swords being stabbed through it. It is about emotional heartbreak. Is this making you feel like you are trapped? Absolutely. But the energy of the Eight of Swords, this particular card, is not about reinforcing that feeling of being trapped. This card is about pointing out that we are only trapped by our own thoughts and our own emotions. There is absolutely nothing else that keeps us trapped in our lives. other than our own thoughts and our own emotions. That is a really, really tough lesson to be faced with, but it's reality. What is keeping you trapped in your thoughts and your emotions right now? And what's making it difficult for you to make this decision is probably this. This is the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is the card of nostalgia. It is the card of remembering all of the good times from the past, but sometimes we put on rose-colored glasses. You know, when we hear the stories of, oh, I broke up and I went out for a couple of drinks, and after I had a couple of drinks, I put on my rose-colored glasses and I remembered that it really wasn't as bad as it once was, and I called my ex? That's this card in a nutshell. This is the card of I had a few drinks and I put on those rose-colored glasses, and maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. It's the card of not remembering why we're in this situation of feeling strife in our relationship in the first place. When we hold on, there's nothing wrong with holding on to the nostalgic past once you have already healed the broken heart. But while you are still in the process of healing and mending a broken heart, while you're still in the process, for that matter, of even making the decision to separate to uncouple from a partnership. And this could be a romantic partnership, or it could be a business or work relationship. But when you've made the decision to uncouple, these two cards, the Three of Swords and the Six of Cups together, are very, very dangerous cards together. Because if we haven't had the opportunity to take the time to heal the wounds, there is that temptation when the energy of the Six of Cups comes in to go back. Once we've had the opportunity to heal that Three of Swords, once we've had an opportunity to allow some time to pass, then absolutely we can look back at our past relationship and say, you know, we did have some good times. That doesn't mean we should get back together, but we definitely had some good times. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that energy. So it does seem like there is an uncoupling that's happening here. Like I said, it may be romantic, it may be a business relationship, but there's something that is coming apart. There's a decision that you need to make about it. The final card in what you're focusing on, Cancer, is the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is a reminder that whatever it is that you're going through and experiencing right now is a cycle or a phase. The Three of Cups is almost always depicted as three women dancing around. The three women on the card represent the three phases of a woman's life, but also represent the fact that a woman has a 28-day cycle. And the vast majority of times, there is usually a depiction of the moon on this particular card, because we do have the phases of the moons as well, of the moon as well. Everything is a cycle or a phase. So no matter how difficult it may be, you had the cycle and phase of the good times. Unfortunately, now you have the cycle of a not so great time, but it is a cycle or a phase, and we can move through this. Just in case you're curious, 3 cycles in a woman's life, or 3 phases in a woman's life, is the maiden, the goddess, and the crone. Just wanted to clarify that. All right, where are we going for difficult influences and challenges? Over here to the Osho Zen. Difficult influences and challenges for Cancer for the latter half of March, please. You have another Queen coming out. Again, Queen of Cups is coming up in your difficult influences. Again, this is about leaning into the emotional and, being receptive to what comes back. The Queen of Cups is probably the most intuitive of the queens. She is the queen that really embodies sinking into her heart center and making decisions from a place of the heart. But in order to be able to do that, she has to be receptive to the information that's coming in around her and accepting of that. This card is indicating that perhaps there's some resistance there. Um, Again, she's the emotional queen coming from a place of the heart. And then also in your difficult influences, you have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is a card that features a character with too many balls up in the air, trying to balance on a ball, little monkey over here about to pop his balloon or pop his bubble. And yeah, it's about feeling like you've got too much going on, trying to juggle too much in your life. Not surprising to see the Seven of Wands come up, the stress card come up in your difficult influences. Let me remind you of this Three of Cups. This too shall pass. The sooner that we move into the realization that this is a cycle or a phase, the quicker it's going to go. The sooner that we stop trying to mix nostalgia with a broken heart, the healing can begin. Let's move into messages that the universe wants you to hear at this time. All right. Messages the universe wants you to hear at this time. Inspire others. Yes, become a beacon for others. Be the strength that you wish to see in the world. You know, be that pillar as you're going through this. Focus on the positive. What can I say? Focus on what you have, not what you don't have or what you've lost. Focus on what you have. And finally, the final message from the universe is follow the golden rule. This one is important because based on what the cards are showing me that you are going through, Cancer, this one's really important because if there is some bitterness that comes up from this, do unto others as you would have done to you. Follow the golden rule. Remember karma. You do not have to take care of karma. She will take care of things on her own if that is your situation. I do want to say that for the vast majority of the cancers out there, what you are currently going through, for the vast majority, this isn't about karma or wanting revenge or anything else, but for a small minority of the cancers out there, you needed to hear this. You needed to hear that do unto others as you would have done to you, and don't worry about karma. She will take care of herself. Because if you try to invoke the law of karma yourself, what you are doing is bringing her wrath down upon you. End of. Moving into unexpected. Let's see what is unexpected. I'm just going to quickly pause there. Sorry about that, Cancers. My son has asked that if he does need to come into the RV to get anything, that I quickly pause the video. He does not wish to appear in the videos, so I am respecting that by just pausing for a moment. Okay, we are tapping back into the energy of Cancer and we're pulling cards for your unexpected. Looks like I might be mixing some cards up. I'm not sure. There's a lot of cards jumping out here. Oh no, maybe not so many. Okay. So the first card to come up is the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is actually kind of a sad card. It's a card of feeling like we're all alone in the world. But the real message behind the Five of Pentacles is if you need some help, feel free to ask. It's okay to ask for help and um, receive help and support. That's what this card is about. And that's coming up in your unexpected. So it's okay. Ask for help. You have the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords, again, has this feeling like you're being isolated a little bit. And yet it also has the energy behind it of the struggle is over. You are nearing the end of a phase or a cycle, and you are on the verge, you are on the tipping point of moving into new vast vistas. I mean, look at the image on this card. This is someone who is walking away from something that's no longer serving them, and they've got nothing but the future laid out in front of them. You have the Chariot coming in. The Chariot almost always has the representation of the black and the white, representing a decision that needs to be made. Which way are you going to go? And I had said that right from the start with the Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups coming in. It was indicating that you had a decision that you needed to make, and you needed to decide whether to make the decision from a place of intellect or a place of heart centered or emotions. And again, the Chariot is coming in, indicating that there's probably a few more decisions that you're going to need to make in the coming days and weeks, Cancer. And some of those decisions are going to come from a place of temptation to hold on to the past. And some of those decisions are going to come from a place of, I can't wait for the future to hurry up and get here. And you have the Four of Wands. And again, the Four of Wands has a very similar energy to the Three of Cups. It's a card of, yes, we have achieved something, we've accomplished something. There is a sense of community about the Four of Wands whenever it appears, and also of celebration. And remember, the very first card that you had here in your unexpected was ask for help and support if you need it. And the Four of Wands is indicating that help, support, sense of community is right there, ready and willing to jump in and help. And where are we going for your final overall outcome? We're going back over here to the Osho Zen. Final general overall outcome. And then we are going to get to your yes/no questions. Yes. All right. Yep, definitely a decision that needs to be made. All right. Just putting these in the order in which they came out. The very first card that you have in your final general overall outcome is the Nine of Wands. This is the card that represents exhaustion. This is, again, a card of feeling like you've got way too many balls up in the air, you're juggling way too much, and you just feel tired. The next two cards that you have happen to be the Two of Rainbows, which is the Two of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. Two twos. Twos are always about decisions. It doesn't matter which way you slice it in the tarot, twos are about decisions. So you absolutely have a decision that needs to be made. The Two of Pentacles is about living in the present moment and making your decision in the present moment. The Two of Swords, it says schizophrenia on it, but really the meaning behind this card is you have to go all in. You have to make a decision come hell or high water. If you look at this card closely, there's a character up here. Let's see if this will focus again. Okay. There's a character up here. The character is holding on by his fingernails here, and he's holding on by his toenails over here. And there is a great big chasm down below him, or chasm down below him. And if he lets go with his toes, he's going to be holding on by his fingertips. If he lets go by his fingertips, he's going to be hanging on by his toenails. There is only one way out of this quandary with this Two of Swords. The reason it's called schizophrenia is because if you keep holding on and not making a decision, then you stay up here, and that's going to drive you around the bend. The only way out of this is to go all in. Make a decision. Make a decision. Trust that it's the right decision in the present moment, and you are going to move into transformation. Now, I hesitate to tell you what this card corresponds to in the general tarot or in the more traditional tarot. This card is a card of transformation. There are times when this deck is more suitable than the traditional tarot because of the names on the cards. If you are interested, this is the number on the card. It is the number 13. But this is about transformation, Cancer. And this is what you are moving into. When you make that decision, you will transform. There's an alchemy that is happening. Alchemy, where the hell did that come from? I've told people before, I channel while I'm doing these readings. That's why I only record, like sometimes only record one video in a day because it is a channeling. So sometimes some words blurt out of my mouth that I don't use in my regular life. Anyway, transformation. This is about an alchemy that's happening in your life. There is no stopping this change. What does that move us into? The King of Wands. The King of Wands is the creator. The King of Wands is the king of action. He gets stuff done. So what this is telling me in order to close off your reading here, Cancer, is that you've got some decisions to make. You really need to make a decision about whether that is going to come from your emotional center or from your intellectual center. Where do you want to make that decision from? Ultimately, you have to make a decision. You've got the Chariot here and you've got 2 twos to close it out. Once you make that decision, your transformation is going to begin. And literally, there's going to be no stopping it. It's going to be like a chariot tearing in and tearing through. And as well, you're going to want to start to take action to move forward with this King of Wands here, with this creator. You're going to want to be really, really proactive. Let's move into your yes, no question. Take a few moments, center yourself, ask your question in your mind, out loud, in your mind, close your eyes, whatever's most comfortable for you, Cancer. And I'm just going to shuffle the cards until we get a card jumping out for Cancer. We need one card for Cancer, a yes or a no for their questions. And that's really not helpful when we have more than one card jump out. Unless, of course, they have the same meaning on them. So I'm just going to have a quick peek. No, they do not. That was not helpful. See, the fact that you've got to make a decision here, Cancer, which is fascinating to me. You have a decision to make, and then you end up with 2 cards for the yes, no jumping out, and they had opposite meanings on them. So even the cards are bumping up against your present necessity to make a decision. So let's go back into it. You need one card for Cancer. Okay. This is still not going to give you an absolute 100% answer, Cancer, but listen to your intuition. And there was a second card that came out, and it is tending on the no side. Okay. And in order to really, really solidify things, just let me remind you, this is a general reading for all of the Cancers out there. Not everybody is going to be treading in the same swimming pool. Not everyone's going to be on the same path or the same journey. So take it as it resonates. But these are your answers. Listen to your intuition and know. Thank you so much for being here, Cancers. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. If this video resonated deeply for you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to my channel. If you are interested in booking a private consultation with me, my contact details are down below. And I look forward to having the honor of doing your next reading for you at the beginning of April. Thank you, everyone.